Pepper says, are you ready to finally clean up this Christmas cave? I know I am. This is the area that we had stored all of our Christmas decorations since we first moved in here. And because it was a dark crawl space and it was packed to the gills, it was named the Christmas Cave. And over the years, we've just put more and more stuff into this space until it was so unorganized with so many different holiday decor and outside decorations that I didn't even know what I owned anymore. And every year I thought, well, maybe this will be the year that I declutter and organize the Christmas cave. And we did over the years. This footage is actually from 2020. And each year we decluttered more and more holiday decor, bringing us into now, 2022. Last week, we started cleaning out the Christmas cave, and we decluttered a lot of things that actually had nothing to do with Christmas. So for this episode, we're going to finally, completely clean out everything in this area. We're also going to be putting the tubs back into the Christmas cave because most of the decorations are pulled out, and we'll also be better organizing them too. And now we're going to follow Miss Pepper into the Christmas cave to see where we're going to get started in today's video. And I think it is best to start on the wrapping paper, especially because we're going to be using a lot of it next week. So it's time to take all the wrapping paper that I have, take it out of this cardboard bin, and finally put it into these organizers that I think I've had for at least 2 years now. Yeah, crazy. They've just been sitting in here, so we're finally going to do it. And this also is another great time to talk about how I am not going to be buying any wrapping paper this year, even if it's on sale, because a lot of this wrapping paper is actually clearance wrapping paper that was like 25 cents, but I have enough to last me for the next couple of years. So we're going to use up what we have. So we found some birthday wrapping paper, so that does not belong in here. We'll put that where that belongs. Some scraps that I'm going to recycle. Now, these 2 rolls right here, there's some water damage on the end of that. Now, what I was thinking is maybe I'll just cut it off in the middle and then see how the top portion of the wrapping paper is and use that first. Same with these. These rolls are almost done, so we'll be wrapping with these ones first. And we're going to be tossing this box. Now, I know that I've had this since 2009 because it's what my jewelry mirror box came in, and I just reused it as a wrapping paper holder, but now it's time to let it go. Now, behind that are some pipes because we had a leak in here. I think it was a year or 2 ago. I can't remember. And hubby was fixing them. And I'm not really sure where to put it at this time. I'm going to leave it here for hubby to decide because he's been working so much overtime. So if he wants to move it, we'll move it. But let's continue over to here. These are some more Christmas lights. They're actually brand new. I have 2 boxes over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it to the gray tub that has all the Christmas lights already in it. That way, all of it's together. Hubby knows where it's at when he wants to replace a bulb or if we need a new strand. It's all going to be contained in this bin, and it did have a label already on it. It was just on the other side. And this bag right here, well, I was going to reuse it, but she's been pretty loved, so maybe it's time for us to let this go too. Now, the rest of this stuff is all the outside lights, and hubby kind of takes care of this. He does put some of the decorations back into these boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all back in the corner nice and neatly so it's all in one spot. And now it's time to go through the hardest bin, which is the kids' elves, crafts, bedroom decor bin. Woo, this one is sentimental, but I'm going to go through all of the things to see what we can let go of, what we're going to keep, what I can donate, because I do feel confident that I can do this. Because we are decluttering every week, I have been reconditioning my nervous system that I am still safe if I declutter. which has made it so much easier for me to let things go without any type of remorse, because we're letting all of this go from a sentimental Christmas child bin. There is no way I could let any of this go, but now I finally can. Now, a lot of this kids' craft stuff, what I'm going to do is I am actually the room mom and the leader for the 5th grade Christmas party. So I'll be bringing some of these crafts for the kids to do. I'll have a couple for Ty to do. And also these trays right here, we got to put them where they belong. They don't belong in the Christmas kids bin. Now, I am feeling an extreme attachment to this foam gingerbread house that me and the kids had built a couple years ago. So I am going to keep that, but what's underneath of it, I'm actually going to let this entire box go. These are the decorations that me and Brandon had made when we made his room into the elf scene in that popular Christmas movie. But the truth is that I actually have video of it being all hung up. So I think it's best that we recycle it, and it actually feels good in my heart to let it go. But maybe I'll keep one strand for Miss Pepper because she seems to really love this and having a lot of fun. So maybe we'll just keep one little strand for Miss Pepper to play with. And behind that is our Christmas tree. Now, we actually have 2 Christmas trees. The tree that's up right now goes into the gray bin right here. And then underneath of that is the Christmas tree from my parents' house. My parents gave me this Christmas tree last year, and I decided to keep it because I have this beautiful vision of putting it up in the basement for Christmas 2023, because I want to make sure that we fully clean out the basement this upcoming year to finally create livable spaces. And now it's time to come back to the opposite side of the basement, where we have all the Christmas bins since we had done that big Christmas declutter in November. Now we can finally properly organize these bins and put it back into the Christmas cave. Now, most of the bins are already clearly labeled, so I know exactly where things go. And some of the bins have the double check mark, which had meant that I had already decluttered it and we already put the decorations out. So these bins can go back into the Christmas cave. And some of the bins I'm actually going to relabel because they're kind of like getting worn off and torn. So we'll create new labels for them. And all I use is a scrap piece of paper, a Sharpie, and some tape to adjust it on there. And I also had some Christmas balls that were not put on the tree this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, put them into the organizer, and let go of the box. And Miss Pepper was giving me extra loving right now. She definitely has been my little emotional support kitty as I clean and declutter. And I'm just so thankful for our little Pepper girl. Now, this bin was labeled living room, but actually inside what was in there was more kitchen stuff, like when I host Christmas Eve, like towels and hot plates and trays. And underneath of this is also our cookie tins. So I need to relabel this. But before we do that, I also need to add the trays that we had found in the kids' tub and put them in here so that everything is together. And when I label these bins, I actually put a little detail into them, just saying that it's kitchen, what's inside of it. That way, it's easy to identify when I have to go grab something from the Christmas cave. And since all the bins are now labeled, it's time to put everything back into it. Is this a lot of work? Yeah, but to me, I just chalk it up as I'm getting my daily exercise in. Now, this was left in here. I had an empty Christmas tub, and I decided that I will take the blue tub that says Christmas regift and put it into the actual Christmas tub. That way I can reuse it. Speaking of reusing, Miss Pepper found a cardboard box that she's now enjoying and playing with. But overall, I'm glad that we got this space back. Now, what I did keep out of the Christmas cave was this right here. These are Christmas crafts, and I'm going to be using them this weekend. And same with the wrapping. I kept that bin out because it's really heavy, and then the Christmas regift bin because I will be wrapping next week. And we have a nice big area to use now. Plus a few more empty bins for when we start decluttering back in the basement again for sorting and organizing. I just wanted to take this moment and share with all of you that I never thought that I could get to this point in my life. I've hoarded since childhood and held on to things. And for a majority of my time in this house, I never thought I could clean out the Christmas cave. I thought maybe next year, maybe another year. And that was like, 2010, all the way to probably when we first started getting in here a few years ago. But even when I first did the Christmas declutter, I never thought I could get it to this space. And I just want to say that if you struggle with hoarding disorder and you're in a space where you think there's no way I can clean something out, I want you to know that you actually can, because I thought that my entire life too. And honestly, the strength is already within you to change. And that if you start to just take those baby steps to start decluttering and reconditioning your nervous system to recognize that, hey, I'm still safe, that I can declutter, and that I can declutter, and I can let this go, and I don't need to hold on to all this stuff to kind of keep my mental stability. It's definitely a different feeling, and it's also one of being freeing. And I just wanted to share my heart with all of you that you can clean the messes out. We got to do it a little differently, and that is quite okay. So my hope and my prayer is that this video motivated and encouraged you to declutter and clean something in your home today too.